In a world run by a corrupt governor, the people have been reduced to insane citizens that dwell in what remains of lost cities. The captured bank robbers drafted to hunt down and return a lost woman in a bizarre post-apocalyptic Japan with highways haunted by ghosts.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Clubhouse Movies Podcast. I'm your host, Mark Rubalcaba, joined once again by Mr. Abel Pineda, and today we are reviewing Prisoners of the Ghostland, directed by Sion Sono.
Bad dude does bad things. Better dude needs him to retrieve his booty from the clutches of another bad guy. It's bad. Like, really bad.
Well, anyway, I'm going to start off because I actually started off one of our earlier reviews with this was a weird-ass movie, so I can't do that this time.
Again.
Today, I'm going to say this movie is not for everyone.
It's not even for me.
Okay, so you tell people, hey, I'm going to watch that new Nick Cage movie, and then they're like, oh, dude, I love Nick Cage. That guy's nuts. And he watches the movie like, what the hell is this?
You're like, is he really though? Is he nuts? Like, you're watching it going, I am very confused.
Yeah, okay. So Prisoners of Ghostland. If you don't have any preconceptions about this movie is
or of Nick Cage.
Yeah, or well, it's still Nicolas Cage. They grab Nicolas. You ever use that Google Earth thing where you grab the guy and he's like,
like, where am I going? Jesus Christ!
Yeah, it's like Nick Cage, and then you put him down. So he got plotted into this movie, and he's like, what the hell's going on here?
You got dropped into Fukushima, dude.
Yeah. Well, anyway, so Nicolas Cage, this movie, he is at the very beginning, he is caught after robbing a bank with a very twisted dude who I guess shoots everyone in the bank.
Even a kid
who was getting gumballs.
Yeah,
gumballs, and then they are captured. And then sometime later, a girl is what's her name? Bernice. Bernice played by Sofia Boutella. And Sofia Boutella, you'll remember her as the Mummy in the Tom Cruise Mummy movie.
That movie, yes.
You also remember as the good alien from Star Trek Into Darkness in the Kelvinverse.
Oh. Okay.
And she was also the woman with no feet in The Kingsman.
Yep.
Who did all crazy
Sharpie point legs.
Sharpie pointy legs. So she's doing really well, apparently. She's working with Nick Cage.
I had to laugh off mic.
Anyway, so I got to take a swig of Big G here.
Oh, man.
Oh, Guinness. It's not just for breakfast anymore.
It's right.
Very good. Well, anyway, I'm going to start off by saying in this movie, Nicolas Cage's beard was weird.
I have so much to say. Why was it so dark?
It reminded me of Hulk Hogan.
God, it did look like Hulk Hogan.
In the NWO world where he had a black beard and just like...
That was so weird,
blonde, a blonde upside-down U that went around his mouth.
He's like, look at my perma-sad face.
So anyway, Bill Moseley. We've talked about Bill Moseley a few times. He played the governor in this movie. He was like he's the bad guy in this movie, and he's also the guy who comes up in all the Rob Zombie movies. So he'll probably show up sooner or later in the Munsters reboot. Yeah. So we'll see. So anyway, they take. Okay, so we're back to Sofia Boutella.
Yeah, that's her name.
Yeah, Sofia Boutella as Bernice. Bernice escapes, I guess, a bunch of geishas.
Yeah, she's like in a brothel.
Yeah, she's in a brothel, but they actually really don't explain if she's like a prostitute or just a comfort girl or just the governor's squeeze or whatever.
Yeah,
but she escapes in a car with a bunch of people. But here is the strange thing about this movie.
Apart from all of the other strange things in this movie.
Apart from everything in this movie. So there are two towns in this movie. As far as I can tell, this is the whole world. These two towns in this verse.
Yes, in this verse,
in this universe, and between it's basically the Road Warrior world.
Yeah,
right. And there's two towns of Road Warrior type worlds, and one is I guess they're both run by the governor because they all say they're under the hand of the governor. One is nicer than the other.
Yeah,
and the one that the governor lives in, the one where all the geishas are. Was it just me, or did it remind you of like Lord Farquaad in in Shrek. Remember the dancing? Because if you watch
You know what? Now it does.
it was like It's a Small World where they're playing
It's
like
so weird. It's
where
so twisted.
where
man.
everybody's singing and everybody, where the clock, I'm a clock.
Yeah, that was haunting. I'm gonna have nightmares with that scene.
Yeah, but here's the thing though, and that's why I can't say I didn't like this movie or I can't recommend it to some degree. It was a weird ass movie, but
I was physically pained watching this thing.
you're paying.
Yeah.
Pained?
Yeah.
Pained? Oh, I paid to watch this movie.
Oh, yeah. And I thank you for paying, man, because I got to watch it on your dime.
Shut up and take my money.
Well, you made me pay for a Black Widow.
Yeah. So there you go.
So there you go, sir. Anyway, so yeah, the governor, he lives in this town. And it almost reminded me of like It's a Small World because everyone's really... But there was a lot of old Western world to it.
Think of like spaghetti Western meets like old-timey Japanese movies. It was like a Clint Eastwood movie met The Last Samurai.
So we're going to call that It's a Small World.
Yeah.
The governor lives in It's a Small World.
Yeah.
Now, on the other side, past the road, we'll talk about the road, by the way. Past the road, there is we're going to call it Hill Valley.
Hill Valley.
3099.
Okay.
So let's say it's like if you remember Back to the Future.
Yeah.
Imagine Marty McFly went even further in the future and they had a clock tower, right? But it was completely dystopian,
Yeah.
right? So the clock tower is in pieces.
So like if you remember Hook, the movie Hook, they have
Yeah.
that dystopian clock, almost a spitting image of that.
Yeah. So there's It's a Small World in Hill Valley, right?
Yeah.
So in Hill Valley, everyone is nuts, right? Like completely nuts.
They are out of their mind nuts.
Yeah, and there's a bunch of people trying to like hold the clock from ticking, and then there's a little spot where they dress up women up like dolls, and
Yeah,
they
like-
just stand there.
Yeah, like mannequins.
Like
It's-
mannequins.
It's as if them wearing these plastic pieces keep them frozen in time.
Keep them. Yeah, it was
So weird.
It was really weird. And then there's these like truck driver people or these,
Mad Max people?
yeah,
you mean?
Mad Max people, the Tinkers, and one person's like, I'm not a rat, I'm a man.
Yeah, they speak like someone who got a tracheotomy.
Yeah, they all have their voices modulated
Dude, I had captions on because I couldn't bear to listen to the movie anymore.
I'm a person. I'm a real person. And this takes place in like a alternate Japan.
Yeah, because what had happened is apparently there was some nuclear fallout.
There was nuclear waste.
Yeah.
Somehow there was a nuclear waste truck.
Yeah.
And it collided with the prisoner truck.
Yeah.
And this happened on the road between Hill Valley and It's a Small World.
Yep.
And somehow that image got infused there. So there is actually a bunch of ghosts of prisoners, a bunch of like bikers somehow,
Yeah.
and a bunch of like
Samurai
samurai and cleanup. Like it's just messed up. And these are ghosts, right?
Yeah.
I didn't get that. It took me forever to figure out
I didn't
that
get it
was a
until
thing.
you explained it.
Yeah.
I was watching it going, I can't watch this any longer.
Yeah, so that's what happened, and they told the story a couple of times, but it was really confusing. And I actually think my aunt walked out at some point. She's like, I can't take this movie anymore.
I walked out.
Yeah, you walked out. Everybody walked out of this movie, but me apparently. And I saw. You know what? Damn it! I'm going to defend this movie. I'm going to be a good advocate.
Okay, I'm gonna
Okay,
take a steaming pile on this one.
go ahead and give it your hot load. But anyway.
No.
What was I gonna say? Okay, have you ever seen an Akira Kurosawa movie?
I can't recall if I have.
Okay,
Akira Kurosawa.
some would say that Akira Kurosawa invented much of modern cinema, including Star Wars. By the way, people would say that the Hidden Fortress is an ape on Star Wars is an ape on the Hidden Fortress.
Okay.
There was a movie called like Dreams made by Kurosawa and a couple other ones, but he would do like 10 minutes of no talking, right?
Yeah.
He was kind of like a Quentin Tarantino-esque, but this is like back in like, I think the 50s.
Yeah, I'm looking at the 50s. Definitely the 50s.
Yeah. And you know, this is still a style of like weird ass movies.
It's very stylized. I'll give it that.
And somehow what happened, like as bad as it was, I wanted to know what happened. I wanted to know where he would go, because here's the thing. Nicolas Cage in this movie had to go after Bernice. Hey,
Yeah.
the governor pulled him out of prison, says, you got to bring my Bernice back. But then he gave him a Ghost Rider suit, right? He gave him a Ghost
I
Rider
saw
leather
that
suit.
and I was like, oh my God, it's Ghost Rider again.
A Ghost Rider leather suit. And
That's booby trapped.
that's booby trapped. So what happens is there's bombs around his neck, around his arms.
Yeah, so it's like little orbs
Yeah.
if you're watching this on YouTube, like little ovals that sit at two at his neck. One on each arm?
Yeah.
And then
Two around his testicles. One around each testicle, I should say. And if he got too angry, different ones would blow up for different reasons. If he got horny,
yeah.
the ones around his balls would explode. Oh boy. Oh boy.
Boy, did the first one go off. And
Oh boy. Oh boy. Well, anyway, we'll get there. That's what I'm saying. Like we just, earlier talked about another action movie, right?
Mhm.
I forget that movie is fleeting, like leaving my brain.
yeah.
I mean, for better or for worse,
this one
Prisoners
will be
of Ghostland
ingrained in you, man.
is a movie that
You will not soon forget.
you
for
will not
sure.
forget. Okay, well, anyway,
Whether you like it or absolutely hate it, like I do.
So they send Nicolas Cage, who's just named the hero, so we can just call him Nicolas Cage.
Yeah, we don't know his
we don't
name.
know his name. He's just called the hero. They send him to go to Hill Valley to bring back Bernice because the governor, played by Bill Moseley, misses Bernice. So they give him a Toyota Corolla.
It was actually, I think, like a 98 Toyota Celica, man.
Toyota Celica or something. I just remember it's a Toyota. It's like an old Toyota.
I was like, this is a Nick Cage movie for sure.
He drives it 6 feet, stops the car, and then gets on a girl's bike. And then some guy's like, "Oh my God, he's so badass!"
I know. It's a samurai dude. He's like giving him this long Clint Eastwood stare, and he's just like nodding his head with his eyes squinted. And he's
Yeah,
like,
that's the thing about this
he's
movie.
like, this is guys.
There's a lot of people dressed like cowboys. A lot of people dressed like samurai, and they kind of infought a lot.
Yeah, it was so weird. You can't place this movie in any kind of time frame because they're all interloping with one another, man. It was so weird.
And then there was this reluctant samurai who kept on coming back and forth, and we didn't know which side he was on really for most of the time.
Well, I got that he was there to protect his sister.
Yeah. He was there to protect her sister because she ended up being a geisha anyway. So good job, buddy.
Yeah, nice job, older brother.
Yeah.
Douche.
So he catches up with Nicolas Cage on the girl's bike and gives him the car. Just take the car, stupid.
Yeah.
Something like that. And he's like, okay.
Yeah. if you insist.
Oh yeah. And the thing is also in this Ghost Rider testicle bomb suit, he's got a gauntlet or whatever, and Bernice has to talk into it.
Yeah, like a Buzz Lightyear gauntlet.
Yeah. Otherwise, it'll just explode. And then,
I think he has 5 days?
He's got some
like that?
days. If she talks into it at certain points, he gets more time.
Yeah.
But anyway, he runs into the ghosts, and they didn't really they didn't really explain what was happening.
Yeah, so you're kind of like, is he gonna fight these people?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, he's just driving through fog, and he crashes.
He crashed into some crap, like some ruins or something.
Except so the scene opens up and Nick Cage is just laying face down on the floor, and you look at the car, it's slightly up an embankment, but it's perfectly intact.
Yeah.
You're like, man, couldn't damage that one. I bet it belonged to the sound guy.
Yeah. And then the ghost just would disappear and reappear.
Yeah.
And one of the big reveals in this movie was one of the ghosts was his buddy who shot all the people.
Yeah.
In the
so when the movie
bank.
started, we assumed it was Nick Cage that shot everybody. But it was actually
that guy looks so
friend.
unhinged. I never thought it was Nick Cage.
Yeah. I mean, but that was obviously
the guy looked like Marv from Sin City.
He totally did.
Yeah.
He totally looked like Marv, and he shot everyone.
I don't know if he's got a name. I always call him Marv if he doesn't have a name.
Yeah.
They call him the Psycho, but I'm gonna call him Marv just for the sake of I know who he is.
Look Marv.
Yeah, he does look like Marv. But anyway, so one of the ghosts is Marv, and
Not Marv from Home Alone.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, you and Home Alone. You've mentioned Home Alone 30 times
Love
in
that
the show.
movie.
But anyway, this ghost Marv, he's clearly him, but I guess he doesn't realize it yet. But then those people with the Tinkerers from Hill Valley, they talk like this.
That's
Marv. Oh, Daniel Stern.
Yeah, from Home Alone, dude.
It's like Marv on steroids.
He does.
Anyway, I totally would have got connected Marv.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah. Because this is Joe Pesci. I'm going to cut your balls off.
The silver tuna, Marv. The silver tuna.
We're the sticky bandits. That's who we are. We stick to things.
We're the wet bandits.
Now we're the wet bandits. Yeah, that's the thing.
So stupid.
God, I pulled that like out of an old file in my brain that I have not accessed since like 1996.
When the movie came out.
I don't know. I think I saw it on VHS at some point, like or on TV. I don't think I've seen that movie in the 2000s.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
I own all of them.
On
Just
digital?
kidding. The first two.
Okay.
The third one's a wash.
I have a parrot and he saves people. He wasn't even like home alone. He was homesick that day.
Yeah.
Or something.
It was the worst.
Yeah.
And he somehow got the nuclear codes on a freaking RC car.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
Anyway, oh man. I don't know. Hang on. Oh, anyway, the producer's telling us to get off the Home Alone talk here.
Right, sorry about that.
Well, anyway, so Marv is a ghost. Okay, so anyway, those Tinkerer guys, they pick up Nicolas Cage because he apparently passed out from hitting that little anthill.
Yeah, from going up a 3-foot embankment.
And they have him and they're helping him. And I guess now that I think about it, that's what happened to Bernice, is that the ghost like tricked her and then they were able to pick her up.
She probably walked at a 3-mile-an-hour pace and hit
yeah, because they don't look. I never got the impression that they're really far away.
They were just standing there.
Yeah,
they're just standing there.
Yeah, exactly. The Hill Valley and It's a Small World. I never thought that they were. I always thought they were like about a mile apart.
They're a causeway away.
Yeah, exactly. But anyway, he finds Bernice and she is inside one of those mannequin things.
Yeah.
And like the Mad Hatter's like, this is my creation.
Yeah, and
they're my women.
Somehow the ghosts have taken her voice.
Yeah, the ghost took her voice, and which is just great because he's got a voice bomb on him, and he just manages to like smack her around a couple of times and at least get her to get in the car. Yeah. Or did he? No, he dragged her in a wheelbarrow.
He dragged her in a wheelbarrow, and she was just laying there listless
to the car, and then he drags her to the car, and maybe some stuff happened. I don't remember.
Yeah.
Oh my God, this scene! This scene was bananas.
Yeah. I saw that was the best scene of this movie. I was like, "That's it. I don't."
I wanted to text you when I saw that. I didn't know what to text you. I didn't want to ruin it. But anyway, he gets her in the wheelbarrow, takes her to the car.
Yep.
And he's like smacking her. He's like, "Talk."
Really paint the scene for our listener.
Yeah. He's like, "You gotta talk, woman," or something. He's like, "Oh, the time. Like, I guess I'll do it in like so much time." And it's Nicolas Cage like the whole time.
Yeah.
And he's like, "You gotta talk." And then all of a sudden, one of the bombs around his testicles starts beeping.
Yeah.
Do I have a button for that? No, I don't. But anyway, it goes off.
He's feeling froggy.
And it explodes. And I'm thinking like, oh, that's just, like it just hurt.
Like, no way there's a testicle right behind that one.
Yeah, I thought it was just like a Three Stooges like punch to the groin or something.
Yeah. Dude.
But it pops, and then he's like, oh. And he reaches in his pants and pulls out his testicle.
And why does the camera have to look right at it?
He's just like, yeah.
And he passes out.
And then he passes out.
Rightfully so, man. I mean, I get punched by nothing, by air, taking a quick whiff of my nads, and I'm like, I'm going down.
I don't know about that. Anyway, then he has another flashback of the bank robbery, and he always sees the governor. Which to me, these flashbacks of the bank robbery wasn't that big of a.
It didn't add anything.
It didn't add anything to it. They could have just had the whole thing at the beginning.
It just made the plot more convoluted. Man.
Yeah, exactly. But anyway, I guess he woke up, or the ghosts. Oh, the Tinkerers, I think, found him again.
Yeah, they found him again. They brought him back.
They brought him back, and then they told the story of the nuclear waste explosion that put the ghost there. Because the ghost also like danced around Nick Cage while he was like bleeding out. And he wasn't even bleeding. His testicle just like fell out. Like it was dangling like a cherry on a tree or something.
God, it looked like a maraschino cherry. Guys.
Yeah, exactly. I remember watching the movie like, what the hell is this movie? that was my like, this movie is this movie is broken. Ladies and gentlemen.
So broken. It's got plot holes and still has better twists than M. Night movies.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Really though, it does. Not even ironically.
Yeah, and anyway, what the heck happens after that? So they keep going back and forth talking about like we should just like do an uprising, and fight the governor because like all this is his fault. And then Bernice is able to talk again at some point.
Yep, and she starts talking into the mic like blah 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 blah, Bernice, and the mic's like, okay. And
also there was this other girl who kept on going crazy, who apparently the governor really liked.
Oh man, she had a weird face.
Yeah.
It was like her smile was like if you smiled like you meant to smile, but it was completely upside down.
Yeah. The governor seemed to like this girl. even when they introduced her, she was in like the limo, like yelling at him. And I'm like, what's this girl's problem? And
then they had this stupid TikTok song they were singing.
Yeah.
And we're not talking about TikTok, the application. We're talking about literally talking about TikToking clocks, which was haunting.
Yeah. It was like that, but like TikTok.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah. So
what kind of laugh was that? Oh man.
Yeah, and then very, very Ghost Rider stuff. And then
this movie is going about the pace and clip that we're going right now.
Yeah. And then at some point Nick Cage goes back into the road to go fight the ghosts or something.
Yeah.
But then his hand explodes, the one on his hand.
Yeah.
But like out of no reason. But it didn't seem like a career-ending injury. Like when it explodes, I guess that in real life, if you get like a bomb or something, you don't think it's that bad till you look at it.
Yeah.
Or something because like
shock.
Because his hand was.
And I'll give it that. It did make it seem like our hero was fallible.
Yeah, and Nick Cage and
weird.
Yeah, it was a weird movie.
I'm really trying to peel back some onions here. Those layers are hard.
Yeah, because in the end,
onion is not ripe.
He ended up going back, and then they gave him like a ash hand from like Army of Darkness. Oh, and they built a hand for him that was like a sword and stuff.
Oh, right, they did.
Yeah, and they gave him like a 70s football helmet.
Yeah,
to go back.
It was like he slipped his whole hand and arm inside this thing, and it had a blade that came out of it. There's another movie where a character has that. Yeah,
it's happened before. I just think of Ash and his chainsaw.
Very true.
I think that's where it started. I was thinking they made him a transporter in this movie.
We need some crickets, man. Do we have crickets?
Yeah, we totally have crickets. All right. Oh boy. Anyway, where were we? So anyway, they find out. This is the best part. So right before they go to fight the governor, the ghosts they come finally to the edge of Hill Valley, and then like what's his name? Marv.
Yeah, Marv.
Marv is like. He's like, you killed me. And then like Nicolas Cage is like, well, you were stupid and you're killing people. He's like, well, I was just having fun. And then...
Don't you like to have fun?
Yeah, don't you like to do things? You're always such a square. Like it was like a weird conveation. And then
so weird.
And then Nick Cage is like, can you let us like pass so we can like kill the governor? And he's like, I guess so. That'd be better for everybody.
Yeah, it was so weird. These writers, man. God, no wonder M. Night movies get produced.
He was like...
Jeez. Dude, it was so.
He's like, you know what? If you get rid of the governor, I guess that'll help us like get free too.
Yeah, wow. I'm a man of reason. And even though my name is Psycho,
Psycho Marv. Even though on the other side there were a bunch of there were like a bunch of ghosts. It wasn't like just Marv speaking for these ghosts.
Yeah, there was a ton of them.
There were a lot of ghosts.
Yeah, the ghosts were like, hey, you know what? That guy's making a lot of sense.
Yeah. Had they ever talked or not that they ever... It would have been nice if it was like Lord of the Rings where the ghost came and helped them out at the end.
Yeah, that would have been way better.
You know, I bet they wrote that, but like, we're running out of money.
Yeah. They're like, we already got Nick Cage. He's got a lot of debt.
I know. I like Nick Cage. Yeah. I think there was even like a scene of where they like, was this guy? And it was like a picture of like buff Nick Cage or something. Buff Nick Cage.
Oh no, man.
Yeah, so they go and they fight the governor. They come back to fight the governor.
And of course they beat him.
They beat him. Nick Cage has a fight with the...
he has a duel.
I'll
give him that. He has a proper, straight up samurai duel.
With the reluctant swordsman.
Yeah.
And it was a good fight. And there was even a scene where like everything is going to hell inside. What was it? It's a small world.
Yeah.
And everyone just sort of says to like the governor, "Why are we even following you?" And they're like laughing at him.
Yeah.
And he like in that moment he actually lost all his power. And in a way that was kind of deep.
That was
when I thought about it because like like fiat, it's not like $1 is backed by gold first. You can exchange them, but now it's based on nothing. So like the governor had it was all mental.
Yeah, it was all mental.
And that was actually kind of...
And you have the power to just say no.
I don't remember how he died, though.
Did he die?
Or did they just...
I think they just left him, dude.
They just left him, maybe? Maybe he died. Maybe they just left... Now I actually want to go back and Did I see how he died? Nick Cage.
We are always the consummate professional. I promise you.
No, if you saw this movie, man,
you would thank us for sitting down and watching it, and not just watching it, enduring it.
This movie was a slog.
It was,
and
whatever that means, but yes, it was a slog.
I'm gonna define a slog.
He's gonna define a slog. If you're watching us right now on YouTube, he's gonna define a slog for you. I think he's looking it up. Mind you, there's a magical computer sitting right in front of me.
Well, I'm just gonna use my phone because
it's quicker for him. There we go. Look,
slog. Okay, ready? You ready?
I'm ready. Let's do this.
Slog. Work hard over a period of time. So it was a slog. We had to watch this movie.
It was, man. That was. I'll be honest.
It was hard work.
It was the first
watching
time
this
I
movie.
actually felt like we were really working at something.
Yeah, and look.
This is for you guys. You didn't ask for it, but you're going to be glad we delivered. You're going to be like,
our studio audience is very happy. You know what though?
We're doing it for you.
At the end they say they got rid of the governor. I remember how he died. Bernice was safe, and then the girl, the angry girl, shot a lot of people with her minigun, and she got shot, but she ended up being okay in the end. Yeah. And I guess everyone just went about their business at the very end of the movie with what's it called? Nick Cage is like, I guess that's the end of the movie.
Yeah,
I don't remember what he said, but he's like,
I don't either because
another day, another deal.
The way.
and I remember thinking like, you know what? Like, I'm glad I watched this movie, just having seen it.
I am too, because I can say I watched it, and now I know I can endure The Notebook. Just on fire today, man.
I like it. But was it speaking of enduring The Notebook though? But it wasn't as bad as watching. For example, you always talk about Ocean's 8.
Yeah, I paid to watch Ocean's 8.
Or Ocean's, not Ocean's, Ghostbusters 2016 was pretty bad.
Yeah, I think I didn't pay for that one.
And in a way, like I said, it's better than Thor: The Dark World because you have an expectation for that.
Yeah, and you're going, like, whether you like it or not, like we mentioned earlier, you will remember this movie. You will. And hot damn, you will probably quote this movie. And I have a quote for you.
All right.
From all the sweet bitches.
I got a quote too. Where is it here? Karate chop you! I'll karate chop you. I'll karate chop you! This is when all the tinkerers.
What is this? The Karate Kid?
All the tinkerers are coming after Nick Cage. He's like, I'll karate chop you, and he's literally doing like the karate chop, like overtly.
He looks like he's dancing,
like Elvis
from Face Off.
Yeah, I'll karate chop you.
Oh man,
they should have got a good I guess you're right.
They could have fit a musical number.
It was a good duel, but they should have had a hand-to-hand combat.
Yeah.
In this, because another thing about this, they wrote it slow pace, but it's good in a way because it did convey what they were trying to do. And I think if there was an actual fight scene, like a hand-to-hand fight scene, it would have came off.
I'll tell you what, man. With all this talk we got going on here, with all this, I forget the fancy word for it, but now
analysis,
analysis,
deep dive.
This deep dive we're doing, I'm gonna raise my letter grade on this one. It's earned it.
Oh,
it's earned it, man.
I'm gonna call Nick Cage and let him know. I think he's. I
really like Matchstick Men.
You know who directed that one?
Tell me.
Ridley Scott.
That's why I liked it.
And the other motif that I didn't quite figure out was they kept on cutting the gumballs. Even the credits, they're just gumballs falling over the credits.
Yeah, is it some metaphor for
innocence?
This colorful
maybe?
Innocence.
I don't know. And the big twist or reveal here was when he was robbing the bank. It happened years earlier.
Yeah, years earlier.
He was shooting at Marv, and somehow I guess he killed Bernice's parents and shot her in the leg.
Yes.
So it's his fault that she's a geisha now
girl.
or something. Yeah.
Man.
So that was like the big twist, and that reminded me a lot of 12 Monkeys. Remember when he was responsible for his own death and that kind of thing.
It was crazy.
Yeah, now that I think more, now that I kind of
put it in perspective,
pulled this on the onion,
it
reminded me of Terry Gilliam movies. like Army of Darkness, like 12 Monkeys. I say Army of the 12 Monkeys, like 12 Monkeys. But
yeah.
But he made a lot of movies in the 80s, like Time Bandits, and he made Baron Munchausen.
Never saw that.
Did you ever see Brazil?
No, but I've heard so many people talk about it.
Yeah, Brazil's like one of those dystopian movies that's a lot like Dark City.
Okay.
And
I do
and The
like
Matrix.
Dark City, so I probably should give this one a try.
Yeah, it's like a version of 1984.
Okay.
But to me, this is a movie like an 80s movie like that where they paid so much for the sets. They paid so much for the extras, paid so much for the costumes, and they got Nick Cage. And then what do? We just let the camera roll and let this unveil, because it was slow.
And I do give it this now that you're saying all that. I loved how practical everything was. The sets, the weird wipe scenes, everything was practically done. There was little to no special effects.
Yes, I don't
even think
I
there
can't
were
recall any CG in this.
Yeah, this movie was purely practical. And there were some scenes where you're like, oh, wow. Apart from some color shading, that was very well executed.
Yeah, and I'm
at a loss right now.
I have a soft spot for this movie.
I couldn't tell.
Yeah, you couldn't tell. Well, anyway, I guess my advocation seemed to help it out a bit, but
swayed me a little bit.
Do you have any more notes on this one?
No, man.
Okay,
I think that's it. I'm ready to move on to some letter grades. I do have a cool little quote I want to throw at the end there.
Well, I'll let you quote.
Let's go.
The Cage again.
Actually, I'm not going to quote the movie. I'm going to create one for you guys to nibble on here. But anyway, let's get to the grade. So I'm going to actually give this a C- from a D. I said, I was physically pained to watch this movie. It was a jumbled mess. I had no idea what was happening. The only reason I gave this movie its grade was, well, now it's two reasons. One, Marcus definitely advocated it well enough. And two, it was too weird to turn away from, like a car wreck. You just want to know how and why everything happened. And back to the gumballs. I guess life's just one big gumball, man.
Ooh.
Give it a good long chew.
Yeah, I also gave it a C-. This is a weird-ass movie. It's bizarre and very stylistic. I do feel like this is the movie that they set out to make. Definitely not for everyone, or even most people. But if you want to see Nick Cage in a quasi-Road Warrior in Japan parody with ghosts doing weird karate moves, this is it. And I might add, so we're going to start giving awards and disawards for movies.
Okay.
So good movies, we're going to try to give them a gold penny. One gold penny.
One gold penny.
Bad movies, we're thinking of the Baloney Mask Award.
The Baloney Mask.
Yeah, so this may be a contender for the Baloney Mask.
Yeah.
But now that I think about the movies we reviewed, the movies we have reviewed,
Well, what?
I don't think this is the worst one.
No.
This movie deserves to exist.
It does. And this is my reasoning. As content creators, as digital creators, as a photographer, you have to be able to express your creativity. And I really think that if we start showing movies like this, then, hey, what do we have left, man?
Yeah, and I don't know. I've made a movie about evil pickles trying to take over the world.
It was great.
Once.
I thoroughly enjoyed it.
But I'm just saying.
It was funny as hell.
Weird ass stuff is a thing, right?
Yeah.
And if you try to make it, who are you to judge? And
yeah, and you never know who that will spark.
And even though there's a scene where Nicolas Cage has his testicle blown off and he picks it up and holds it next to the camera.
Yeah, he's wearing a sumo thong.
Yeah, and he's wearing a sumo thong. Oh, yeah. Oh, I think that's when he was like, they had him buffed out or something.
Yeah.
They CG'd his body. I remember that was really, that's what took me out of it, because I wrote like Nick Cage buff. What the heck?
Yeah.
This movie deserves to exist. And let's think about, did we ever talk about like the Rise of Skywalker, Star Wars, The Rise of Skywalker?
Not too in depth.
Did you see it?
Of course.
I think that's a bad movie, and I would not recommend it.
See, when I first saw it, I would totally say watch it when I've seen it like 10, 15 times. Now, every time I watch it, I can't actually get through it. I have to just go to the next one.
Yeah, it's and
it was too long.
It was too long. It was completely unnecessary, completely poorly written, completely disrespectful to the characters.
Yeah.
Completely disrespectful to its audience.
It pandered too much to the time, which Star Wars felt timeless.
And like it or hate it, The Last Jedi set a story in motion. And if they continued that story, you would have had a better story as the Rise of Skywalker. Instead, they decided to completely retcon, throw everything away. And it was, I think J.J. Abrams said, movie directed by committee or directed by Lucasfilm or something.
Yep.
And they lost their vision. They lost their respect for the audience. They lost their respect for the character.
They were just after the money, man.
So going back to Prisoners of the Ghostland, this was a movie that they wanted to make. And Nicolas Cage gave it his all.
Yep.
I can't imagine like a better direction or better cinematography for this movie because it was, to me, just really 80s.
And it existed perfectly, now that I'm thinking about it, perfectly within its realm of where it should exist.
And
there are other movies like it.
Mark my words, though, it is not a good movie.
No, we are not saying it's good by any means.
Yeah. Mark my words, if you watch this movie, you are going to be like, what the hell am I watching?
Yeah. But a lot of the times, but you won't turn away.
You won't turn away.
You might look away for a bit because your phone's right next to you, but you won't stop watching it.
And I was thinking about like Nick Cage. Like, I like Nick Cage. I want to see him in more movies.
Yeah, I've never been against him. I thought I've enjoyed him in too many movies growing up. He's just been like a constant actor from childhood well into my adulthood.
And I think like Nick Cage versus Bruce Willis. Like Bruce Willis really hasn't I don't know if he's like tried to be in like in a good movie in a while.
No, man, he's been very one-dimensional.
Very one-dimensional. Nick Cage gave it his all in this movie, and it was nice. I want to see more Nick Cage. And the only thing, the story was a little crappy with the Ghostland.
Yeah. Hey Nick, why don't you just star in a movie that we write for you?
Or sit right there and run sound effects.
Yeah, great.
Put you back in the dungeon.
Yeah, we'll record you. We'll make it a mockumentary.
Well, anyway, that has been our review of Prisoners of Ghostland. Remember to like, share, subscribe.
Hit that notification bell.
Yep. Comment, tell a friend, recommend a movie. We're always looking for new movies to review.
Yeah, we want comments. We're on Twitter.
Yeah.
We are on Facebook.
Twitter is Movies Clubhouse. Facebook is Clubhouse Movies. Somehow they got mixed up.
Yeah, and you can just Google us because we are the only ones with our name, and we flood the whole page.
We are. That's so weird.
Yeah.
We're on every podcast available. We're on YouTube.
Yeah.
So we're around. Anyway, I am your host, Mark Rubalcaba, for Mr. Abel Panetta. That has been our review of Prisoners of Ghostland on Clubhouse Movies Podcast. We will catch you next time.